In this video, I'm going to be talking about the upward spiral and how it changed my life, not only in the gym, but in all areas of my life as well. You see, growing up, I've always had the mindset of a downward spiral. So I'd get a bad mark on a test, a math test, and then I would get rejected by a girl the next day, and then I would not make the sports team. And I always put myself in this downward spiral, and it really took over my mental aspect and felt like I couldn't accomplish anything. But what really changed was understanding, embracing this upward spiral that can occur and is making me the person that I'm slowly trying to become in the future as well. So for example, growing up, I might get a 90 on my math test. Then I'm like, oh, there we go, we got it. And then I would rest. And this is where that downward spiral will still continue because I didn't give the momentum that the upward spiral could have brought. If once I got that 90% on a math test growing up and I continued to stay on that path, I continued to study, it could have been a much different outcome than what it is now. You know, I had this kind of journey throughout my high school where I had to lock in like grade 11 and I started getting better grades, but it could have been much faster early on when I used to get really bad grades in the upbringing in like grade 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It could have been completely different. So you need to give that upward spiral a chance and give it real momentum. So for example, let's translate into the gym. So we have our carbs, fats, protein. We always hear this when people say, oh, you need 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? For a pound of body weight. And same thing with different ratios for carbs and fats. And if you're completely new, what's the point of just completely straight diving into this if you're doing this by yourself? You see, you know you need to get carbs, fats, and protein. So in the ratios they gave, Q said that protein needs to be the highest. So instead of worrying about numbers first, as I used to always eat junk food, why don't I just eat sufficient protein? Why don't I incorporate more chicken, more fish, more protein sources where I know that it'll help me not only build muscle, but keep me satiated and I won't binge eat. You see how this is just one step closer towards the person you want to be, which you eventually want to get to tracking your macros and coming in some killer shape, right? Same thing with the carbs and fats. Carbs, how much carbs do I need? I forgot, he was saying some numbers, I don't understand. But I always used to eat cookies as my carb source, and they don't fill me up. And like Kira said, have complex carbs, things like rice, oats. How much do I need? Well, why should we focus on that now when we could focus on that after, once we got into the habit of actually eating rice and oats? You see how this puts you in an upward spiral and gets you towards the person you truly want. And a lot of people might see my physique now and say, oh, he got lucky with his physique. And there's a lot of clips you guys haven't seen of a lot of failures in terms of the reps I was moving. But it was 2 years of a lot of sets and reps of failures, not only training to failure, but genuine failure in terms of form, failure in terms of embarrassing myself that has gotten me to this position. But I understood the mindset of an upward spiral that slowly but surely, as I keep on going, I will become the person I want to be and continuing to become that person I eventually want to be in the future as well. So don't always see one victory as the all-in-all victory and stop there, because that can really put you in a downward spiral. Oh, I got jacked. Now, since I'm in a decent enough physique, if I just stop now, I eat unhealthy, I start partying, I start not being focused, I start doing random stuff. Where does that put me in? A downward spiral. You'd rather be in a very, very slow upward spiral than a downward spiral, because a downward spiral can happen like this. As we know, losing weight is harder than gaining weight for many of us. We eat one cookie, that's like 200 calories, but to burn 200 calories takes longer. But if you have the mindset of an upward spiral, slowly but surely you're going to get better and you will lose the weight you want to lose. Losing 20, 50, 60, 70 pounds might seem a lot, but if you know that slowly in that upward spiral you will become the person you want to be, you will do it. And that's what you need to understand, and that's what makes life beautiful. If I sit here and in 1 week I got the physique I have, it's more so, I got the physique, it's not that impressive. But I can sit here and proud of all the failures I went through, whether it's nutrition, whether it's lifting, all that I did by myself with no help. I'm proud of where I came because it was a genuine struggle of trying to learn everything, especially with the nonsense that's out there online about one guy says this, one guy says that, just trying to get views and make it controversial. So next time you feel like giving up or feel like it's not worth it, just understand the upward spiral at the very top of the upper spiral goes very, very fast, man. It just comes to you like this. And it really did for me too at a certain point on social media where I was posting like a madman. I was posting 15, 20 times a day. And all of a sudden, boom, one of my videos on TikTok got 4 million likes. Just like that. It was an upward spiral that went through it, but at the beginning, it was very, very slow. And that's the same mindset I've had in all areas of life. So just keep in mind when you first start your journey to not overload with everything like a hurricane, but you want to slowly but surely get into that storm, and eventually you will come out that storm a better person, but you have to be patient.